morning, good afternoon, and good evening, EXP family. Welcome to Level Up. My name is Alyssa Specht. I'm with EXP University. I am thrilled to be here with you yet again. My friends, we do this every Monday and Wednesday, and these are the highlights of my week. I love to see you. I love to bring you training that's going to help you level up your life and level up your business. And I'm proud of what we're bringing here today. And I hope that we're giving you the value that you need. So let's get into it, guys. We're streaming all over the place today. We're on YouTube. We're in EXP World. We're on Workplace. So what I would ask is wherever you're watching, go ahead and give us a like. And then I want you to think about who in your life might need this today. And I'll give you the rundown in just a moment about what's going on. Okay, but think about who needs this, who needs help with that. Send this to them, right? So let's expand, let's elevate the industry together right now. So let me give you the rundown of what we're doing here today. So we are bringing you the goods. We are bringing you 3 sessions today. Number 1 being never lose a listing again. So we're talking to Jeremy Kane about how we can never lose a listing. Love that. And then we're going to talk to Jacob Shireman, and we're going to get down with the technical pieces of how to drive traffic to your websites, to your funnels, to your landing pages. So that's super exciting, and I think all of us need that. And the last one, we're going to talk to the amazing Sarah Delancig about how to make follow-up fun, which is, as a fun-loving person, I absolutely need this class right now. And I'm guessing there are a few of you out there who probably need the same. So stick around for that, and let's get kicked off today with Never Lose a Listing with Jeremy Kane.
What's up, guys? My name's Jeremy Kane from Denver, Colorado. I have been at EXP for just over 2 years, 2 years and 2 months. I have received 2 Icon Awards and have capped already in my 3rd year. So super excited to kind of dive in and pour into my EXP family. Today, we're going to talk about my seller strategy. I get a lot of questions about, from my agents and things about, what's your listing presentation? What's that look like? And unfortunately, I tell them, well, I don't really have a listing, presentation, so to speak. And this is how I never lose listings, how I compete, how I, have been in and out of the number 1, volume agent in the Denver market through EXP and all of Colorado, to be honest. So let's get into this. The seller strategies, never lose a listing, and let's go. All right. So first things first, are you different? I like to start here because there are so many agents. There are 3 million agents approximately in the US. I hear that's falling off as the market shifts a little bit here. But give me 30 seconds and write down every single thing that you do differently than the other agent. And let's base this a little more on seller strategies. Ready, go. All right, that was about 30 seconds. So when I first got in the industry, I was like, okay, I got to do something different here. I didn't want to just be a buyer's agent. I had heard the list or die kind of quote from the old guard. And so I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do differently. And I tried and I did some things in the listing presentation. I was bringing the technology, I was bringing all the marketing. And then I was at a listing class with one of the top listing agents in my market. And he, talked about his listing strategy, and his big piece was, he would walk in the door and he would remove his shoes. And most of the time people are like, oh no, don't remove your shoes. We're in the middle of moving or whatever it is. And he said, no, I insist on protecting the asset. And I was like, well, that's not really my style, but it just differentiated him a little bit from the other agents that said, okay, or, just took their shoes off and kind of let it go. So when he said that, when I was in that class, I was like, okay, I got to do something different. I got to have kind of that one-liner. This was the first part of his close, was that piece. So that was kind of taken into consideration, as you'll see. So the normal listing appointment, right? You get the agent packet, it's basically your street cred in the folder. It's all about you. all the things that you do, how many homes you've sold your days on market, all the things. And it's just full of a list of you telling. I'm a big proponent of showing versus telling, and you'll see that. Then you'll have this CMA that's probably generated by some online template, or your MLS has a template attached to it with a bunch of information, a outdated picture, or maybe a current picture if you went over and got a picture of the home before. Um, and it's got a bunch of stats on it and things like that. What I found is that the homeowner typically, unless they're extremely data driven, only cares about the bottom line and what you're going to list their home for. So you show up with that in hand, and that's where I really changed the game here. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, and then we're going to tour the home. We're going to walk around. We're going to take notes. We're going to just kind of see what's been done, what hasn't been done, and go from there. And then we're going to sit down at the dinner table, right? I remember from the Brian Buffini days, the dinner table is where the magic happens. So you sit at the dinner table and you close, and the rule is don't leave without a signed contract. To me, that is very transactional, right? I'm going to leave with a relationship, with rapport built, and I don't have any doubt in my mind that that contract will be signed when it's ready, when it has the appropriate information in it. So here's my close. Notice it's at the beginning. I do remove my shoes. I don't say the corny protecting the asset thing. I skip right. Appropriate introduction. What's up? John, Jane, whatever your name is. I'm Jeremy. Thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me today. I'm super excited to dive in. And then I kind of go in either when I'm prompted. Typically some people say, well, you don't have anything, stage show up with stuff, or I get to it in my process. And literally what I say is something along the lines of, it would be disingenuous for me to show up with a pre-printed document suggesting a price of your home before I got to see all the things that you did to it, to make it your own and make it unique. Is it okay if I just take some notes and pictures while we walk around the home? I'll kind of walk you through some of the things that I would suggest and not suggest. You can ask me any questions, and then in a day or so we can reconvene and we can create a pricing strategy together. Very different, right? If you notice right away, it would be disingenuous. It would be wrong for me to show up with a pre-printed document or a PDF file that has a suggested price on it. Every single agent I know asks for listing presentation, asks for, CMA training, and they're taking these to the listing appointment. I am not. And then I say why it's not right. If I could just list my house from your computer, from my computer at home, I'm easily replaced by the .coms of the world. And so right there, they're like, oh, I interviewed 2 other agents and they both had a price. They were the same price, and they had it pre-printed on a document before they even showed up. They don't really care about what I've done. They don't really care, but they're not different enough to market my property. They're just another agent that's running numbers, through a software, and that's that. So that's a huge one. Separate yourself right away, and it goes from there, right? And then you're just building rapport. They're joking, they're telling you all about their kids, everything that's important to them. I don't just show up to the house. So here's the plan. I educate myself. I run comps. I tour every competition home I can, whether it's active, on the market. If it's coming soon, I even try and get a little information. And then even if it's pending accepting backup, I'm going to try and tour every single home in this, general vicinity, direct area. Obviously, in the urban areas, you don't want to tour every home, but I want to see the competition. I want to see either what just was on the market and what went off, or what's sitting on the market, days on market, all the things. And then I'm also going to know the community. Where are the schools? How do you get there? What's the rec centers? What's the parks? What's the new restaurants? All of that. So I do my homework just as if I was going to provide a CMA, and the price is probably the same at the end of the day, but it doesn't matter because I've not only separated myself from other agents, but I've also included them in the process, right? And you can go all day about how you control that conversation, and there's a slide at the end on the pricing strategy meeting. And then I close the deal right away. When I walk in, I separate myself. They're like, oh, this is different. And they're immediately more intrigued and they're more in tuned. And then I also really work to identify the next property plan. Okay, why are we moving? What's going on? Where are you going next? Can I, oh, I'm moving out of state. We have a lot of people leaving the state now. Can I connect you with somebody on my, you know, within my group at EXP or within EXP? So I'm generating a referral there, but I also am caring about, okay, what's that process look like? Are they going to ask me to, find them a replacement property in a competitive market before putting their house on the market? Well, let's talk about options. Let's go down that road. So you're just demonstrating that you care, but also your expertise in their exit and their next home, because again, we don't want homeless clients as real estate agents. It's a bad look. And then I tour the home, take notes. I say, oh, yeah, that furnace, the avocado green stuff, that definitely may come up at inspection. Here's what I suggest. Maybe call an HVAC contractor. I'll send you somebody if you don't have somebody, but have them just clean and service it and say give it a good clean bill of health, and we can leave that on the counter. So, when people see that it's, older just based on the color alone, they can know at least it's in working order. And so I provide value as we walk through, talk about, potential inspection items, pitfalls, anything like that. And it's just back and forth, notes, pictures, everything. And I'm just collecting data. I'm not going to sit there and try at the dinner table. I do sit down at the table, so I still use that, or the bar, wherever it is, right? And I actually show them examples in my marketing. I pull up my YouTube, I Google search, move to Denver, Colorado, or something that I obviously know where my YouTube video will pop up in the Google search, or a listing, a list that I've done. I say, here's the stuff you get. Here's my social media following. Here's, a example of a flyer or walkthrough or whatever. So I show them examples. I don't tell them. I don't good I am. I show them what I've done for other people in homes that look like theirs. And it's not like, I'm not pulling up a random, property tour of a luxury listing when I'm in a condo, right? So that's why I constantly market all of my listings, no matter the price point, the same way. Because I want, okay, this is a condo. Let's show them a condo tour. Let's show them how I market this condo. Or it's a higher end. Let me show you unique property and go when other agents couldn't. One thing of this meeting, because you don't have that pricing strategy, they will ask you how much you charge, right? And so I'm going to talk package of this where I include staging and photos and the whole 9 yards. I have a discount package because it's pretty staged up and we're ready to go. Does it a lot of preparation on my end? So this is my discount package. And so you talk about those, you differentiate yourself. It could be whatever you want, just stack it with a ton of value, because other agents aren't stacking listings like that. Hey, you have to get it staged, but you have to pay for it, that kind of stuff. So know these two, things, know your levels, your buckets as you go with that. And then I say, okay, let's get straight to a net sheet, right? Let's talk about what you owe. Let's talk about what you want to clear, because when you talk about these numbers, they're whatever they know, they have a predetermined idea in their mind. When they see it on this statistical outline, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to walk away with 200,000, so a $30,000 commission probably is okay, right? And so the net is all they really care about at the end of the day. So I do that. I have that option, title companies, and there's plenty of phone apps that you can use. And then I schedule the pricing strategy meeting. Is it Zoom? Is it in person? Is it on the phone? It depends on the client, depends on their schedule, and what I think. What's the end goal? Demonstrate my unique value, listen to what the client wants and expects. I recently had a YouTube listing come up, had never met the lady, went to her house and kind of built rapport in that meeting because I wasn't so focused on getting through my listing presentation and telling this lady who had bought and sold 10 to 15 houses the real estate process. She said to me 4 times that you could walk to this high school, middle school, elementary school, and grocery store without crossing a major street. In my video, I said that when I was outside talking about it in my listing video. I said, you can access XYZ without crossing a busy street, super conveniently located. In my testimonial, she mentioned that I was the only agent that she had worked with. Two other agents had tried to sell that I was the only agent that highlighted that you walk to the schools, the grocery store without crossing a busy street. She said it 4 times. She told me exactly what she needed to see. Sunshine, any of the aerial pictures, any of twilight pictures. We were just in conversation. So then secure the listing. Objection. What if they ask for a listing price? Everyone else did the work. You have to be ready to go. I really, even though I know what our numbers are probably the same, I really try not to give it to them. One way I do this is, hey, what do you think it's worth? And I say, reason that I have, a price for it is because now I have all this data and I want to go sit down in a quiet place, make calls and see what their strategy was like and see how it worked out for them. And so I want to get the price right the first time, because that's where we have the ability to get it bid up. Or, if you price it right the first time, you go through all the statistics and do all of that. So that's how I kind of stave that off. I've never listed a home. I need paperwork. So this is the agent saying, I need the paperwork to guide me. Marketing examples, marketing strategy, market stats, all of these things you can have that'll show the difference, right? If you have an all-star lender or title company like I have, what's the average days on market? What's the average, close to list price? What are all these things? You can get those really dialed in and provide those. You also may go with a seller questionnaire where you're going through it with them, asking them questions. It's almost like building rapport, a roadmap to building rapport. But you don't need the paperwork, because honestly, if you have a listing presentation, the top listing agent in your area that they may be interviewing probably can run circles around you with the listing presentation and how they go. So this is super important to, develop a system and develop your own style. Absolutely. But you can do it without, a 30-page listing presentation that's all boilerplate information anyways. Pricing strategy meeting, subject property report. So we're talking a lot about the subject property, and then market knowledge. This home is the most like yours because of XYZ. This home was on the market for 3 days, listed at this price, sold for this price. And then you just kind of walk through a CMA. I still don't put them the 13-page CMA template. I just kind of walk through it. Granted, my experience and things like that, you can resort to the CMA at this point. It's totally okay. But it's more about a conversation about their house compared to these houses, right? Exactly what an appraiser does. Revisit the replacement home plan. Make sure that do we need to add the scouting trip? I have another video in EXP University on, never losing or turning every relationship into a buyer. Check that out on my scouting trip. Make sure we're connecting them with a lender if that's the time. Provide a pricing suggestion, right? And now maybe if you went down that road what they would list it for, and so you're kind of prepared for what that situation is going to be. You know what? Let's give it a shot. I think we're close to that. I would price it a little bit lower, but it's within the realm of possibility. So let's see. Or this is why I really think that's a little bit high. Or in a perfect world, actually your home's worth more than you think. Let's price it at this, and then their eyes light up. So and then go through your unique marketing strategy for their home. Act as though you have the listing as well. So, hey, we got staging scheduled for next Monday. We got pictures scheduled for Wednesday. Once they're done, we're going to be actively listed by this day. We're going to review offers. We're going to start looking for a home this day. I've spoken to the HOA. All of those things that, suggest that you're already committed and working together. Use a couple of those. Like, hey, we could, I already talked to my stager. They can be here on Monday, right? Or the picture person, they're on standby. I'm going to dial that in. Can we schedule pictures for, next Tuesday? And just have that confidence to really dial that in, and it will go a long way. And that is all I got. If there's something that I said today that you have questions about, I'm the Real Estate Agent Playbook on most social channels. DM me on Instagram if you have a direct question. Check me out on YouTube, the podcast, all of that. And I hope you have a great day, and I hope you never lose a listing again using this strategy. Bye-bye.
Folks, that was Jeremy Kane. Another great session. We have had Jeremy on for a few different sessions, and we've got one more with him. I believe we've got that going next week. So if you liked that, make sure that you tune in next week for the next one. Now, we also, this next speaker is another one who's done a series for us. And so you're not going to want to miss as we keep going through this series. But I'm so excited about this one because this is something that I think a lot of us need right now. So next up, we're going to talk to Jacob Shireman about how to drive traffic to your websites, to your funnels, to your landing pages. Right? We need this right now. So without any further ado, let's toss it over to Jacob Shireman.
Hey, everybody, we're back with the Level Up series, and we're going to continue our series on real estate sales funnels, websites, and landing pages. In the last video, we talked about how do you build one? What do you need in them? What are the key elements to having a website, sales funnel, IDX website, landing pages, and how to bring them all together because they're not competitors, they're companions. But today we're going to talk about in part two, how do you actually drive traffic to your real estate funnel and landing pages and even to your website. And so we're going to get started on that. A little bit of background if you don't know me. Again, I have over 15 years of experience in marketing, specializing in web design and SEO. And I literally, that's all I've done for the last going on 16 years, actually, specializing in web design, SEO, and creating marketing plans for company. I've owned my own marketing company. I owned MIF Media, which was formerly Marketing and Mindset, and I'm the co-founder of that. And then I'm also the co-founder of Groovy Social, which is basically a social media content platform for realtors that gives you daily social media content and strategies that you don't have to think about. And so you can put your social media on autopilot. And I'm also a realtor here in Houston, Texas with eXp Realty as well. And today we're focusing on the traffic aspect because in order to get a lead, you have to get somebody to view your stuff, whether it's an ad, your website, your social media. So we're going to talk about that. And more importantly, we're going to kind of focus on how to drive traffic to your funnels and landing pages. We talked about before that your landing pages and funnels do not bring in traffic. They just process it. You have to send it traffic, unlike a website that you could have organic SEO, which means that you're searching for a realtor near me, houses for sale in Houston, whatever it is, people are searching for your services, and then you come up on the search results of Google. And so that is usually somewhat on the easier side. Once you get SEO going, it's something that's evergreen and always going. But how do we actually send traffic to these landing pages and funnels? And so we're going to start off right away with websites. So whether it's your website or your IDX website, you're going to do this with local SEO. Now, one thing that most people get wrong with SEO, which is search engine optimization, basically getting found on search engines like Google. YouTube is actually second largest search engine in the world, Google being number one. But whether it's Bing, Yahoo, any search engine, you need SEO to be able to rank. And this is just basically the practice of these little tiny bots that crawl your website, reading the information, processing it, indexing and categorizing it. It lets people know, hey, when they search for this keyword, homes in Houston under 300,000, your webpage is ranking somewhere in there. And that is what SEO is. And you're going to do that locally. And SEO is super important because this is organic traffic, which is free, right? We're not paying for this traffic. When people search, they're finding you organically, whether it's Google in Google search results or on Google Business or Maps. And if you don't have a Google Business page, or which is now Google Maps, if you do not have one of those, go get one. And when I did a training about 6 months ago on this, there's this statistic that says that 50% of business owners haven't even claimed their Google Business profile. And why not? It's free. And it's the first thing that's going to show when you're close to somebody, and it's going to show your reviews. That's how people leave reviews for you. And those reviews, believe it or not, are indexed and have keywords in them. So go get all of this free stuff because it will help you with your online optimization and getting found. And the reason why SEO is so important is because it drives 1,000% more traffic to your website than organic social media. And with everybody jumping on the social media bandwagon, especially now with TikTok and short form video, and even things like YouTube long form, and all these Instagram, and whether it's ads, you get a better return and you get more traffic with SEO, because this is somebody where they've stumbled on you. You're not forcing an ad on them. You're not forcing a sale on them. It's just something that they've organically found, and they're more apt to have their guard down and trust you. And you can do this pull marketing where you slowly pull them to you instead of pushing them to you with a sales strategy or forcing an appointment. Okay. And then here's some more SEO statistics: is 60% of marketers say that inbound, which is SEO blog content, is their highest quality source of lead. Again, and the reason why, if you haven't watched previous videos on my YouTube channel, head over there. I do a lot of training too on blogs, because people just left blogs by the wayside. 10 years ago, when I was really into the web design and SEO, blogs were everything. If you didn't have a blog on your website, you were never going to rank, because blogs are a great way to keep your website updated, which is what Google's looking for. Do you constantly update your website? Are you putting new stuff? Is it relevant? And blogs are a great way to do trending things, talk about the neighborhood, because remember, there's more to selling houses that are more to real estate than just selling houses, right? So people want to know, why should they buy a house on your side of town? Because houses and apartments and lofts and condos are everywhere. But why your neighborhood? Why your side of town? And that's where you come in by promoting the neighborhood, local businesses, restaurants, parks, things to do. And you can do this easily with blog articles. And it's a way to keep up local SEO, but also those keywords as well. And again, you're going to get a higher quality of leads, because again, people are looking for you, and it allows them to keep coming back to you as much as they want with no pressure until they're ready to actually book an appointment and use you, because you don't know where they're at in the buying and selling process. And this also establishes you as a trusted authority source as well, because they can look at what you're writing, go fact check it. And if you know your stuff, then they're going to know that they can trust you as well. So SEO is one thing that you need to make sure that you have, and just constantly by submitting. If you only do YouTube videos, put your YouTube videos in your KV Core blog, write a little paragraph or two about it, embed the video in there, and now you have something to put your blog article. And you should minimally be doing one blog article a week, if not 3 to 5 times a week is optimal. And with the things like chatgpt, you can easily write blog articles. I have a video on that as well, where you can actually go through and create content on the fly that's quality. And with little editing, you can have an amazing blog. So if you're not doing that, it's something free, just requires a little bit of time. And you can even outsource that to a VA or anything like that as well. So the next step is, let's talk about another way to drive traffic to our website and our funnels and landing pages, and that's with content marketing. So content marketing is super important, because at the heart of every single digital marketing strategy or plan is content. If we don't have content, things to talk about, like what I'm doing right now, then we don't have any type of marketing. So content is extremely important. Most people think they don't want to get into it, but you're already doing it. If you have a website, you're talking to people, that's content. The critical importance of content marketing is that it connects and supports all the elements of your digital marketing strategy. All the things that you're putting should connect. If you're putting a blog article, break it up into pieces and record short form video. Take your blog article and make a YouTube video out of it. If you watch my website, you'll see a lot of my blog articles have a YouTube video with it. Why double do the content? You can take it and repurpose that content. So some ways you can do content marketing are with videos. So again, long form and short form. So long form would be like YouTube. Usually over 10 minutes is what long form is considered. And then you have short form like Instagram, which is usually, I know they just increased it, was 1.5 minutes. I think you can go up to 3 now. And then you have TikTok as well, and other platforms like that. And then the blogs, like we just talked about, if you're not implementing a blog, I cannot stress that enough. Go implement a blog. We all go search blogs. So if you're searching it for things to do in your area or researching things, imagine how many people are doing the same thing about buying or selling a home, especially when it comes to selling a home, because they think they can do it themselves, right? Instead of hiring a realtor. So that way you can educate them on just how hard it is to sell a home by yourself. And then podcasts are another great. Podcasts have blown up because podcasts allow us to repurpose content, right? If you record your podcast, now you have a YouTube video, or if you structure your YouTube videos a certain way, you can extract the audio and now you have a podcast. And people love podcasts. They tune in more to that than music sometimes on the road, or instead of the radio, just because you're able to learn as you go and you can pick those up. So podcast is another great way, very inexpensive to do. And then social media, right? Social media is another form of content marketing because you're constantly creating posts, stories. It's all content, just like that song is everything is content. Everything is content. So start thinking that way. And then another way that we do specific content marketing is social media content. Social media is a powerful tool for driving traffic. We all do it. It's something free. If you don't have a social media profile, go get one. I personally, for my businesses, I don't have separate social media profiles. I want the person to connect with me. However, you can create separate ones, but these are free resources that you should be using. But remember, with social media content marketing, it is a long-term strategy, not a short-term. If you need leads today, blogs, SEO, social media, organic social media is not the way to do it. You need to start it today. So 6 months to a year from now, you're getting consistent leads. And you can get leads quicker than that, but they won't be a steady stream unless you just keep going viral. But you want to do something like paid ads or some other type of marketing to supplement some lead generation if you really need leads right now. There's platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Now I need to add Threads to this. So there's all these platforms, Twitter, to target your ideal client. And think about those platforms too. If you're targeting, maybe your specialty is 55 and over, if that's your niche, well, you're not going to take to TikTok, okay? Even though there are people on there 55 and older on TikTok. Majority of your audience for people like my grandparents are going to be on Facebook, right? But if you're trying to target a young audience, you definitely don't want to take to Facebook. You want to take to something like TikTok. You want to create engaging content, targeted ads, and interacting with potential clients. Make sure everything that you're posting has something to do with the audience that you're reaching. So, easy way is if you're at EXP and you're trying to get real estate leads, but you constantly put in content that helps agents, well, you're not going to get leads, right? And vice versa. So make sure that your content is targeted to, if you're targeting 55 and older, make sure it's targeting those communities and things that they're struggling with and problems you can solve and things that they're looking for versus your younger audience as well. And be sure to consistently post. This is the death for all real estate agents. The NAR statistic is 87% of real estate agents fail in the first 5 years of the career, and it's because of consistency. People start, I can't tell you how many times I've worked with clients. We've done a Facebook ad for a week, and they didn't get the 1,000 leads that they had in their mind they're getting, even though we told them, you're going to average at this budget, 10 leads a month, 15 leads a month. But if they don't get them all in that first week, they want to quit. So you need to be consistent with what you're posting, consistent with your content marketing, because it will eventually pay off. My dad would always say a blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and then. You can find a lead. Just stick with it. It takes time. And I know we all get that desperateness, but you just got to be consistent with what you do. So if you're only going to post 3 times a week starting out, make sure you post 3 times a week. If it's just once a week, post that once a week, but make sure you have that minimum consistency that you set out to do, and then you can grow from there. And then again, I keep telling you, 99% of people fail with marketing because they don't have clear call to actions. All of your social media posts should have a clear call to action. So if you're talking about check out this is what $300,000 gets you in Houston, and you're showing a property and you don't put a simple call to action at the end, they're not reaching out to you. They might just think that you're posting that. They might not know you're a realtor. They might not have went to your bio. So make sure that you put a clear call to action. To see more homes like this in the Houston area under 300,000, click the link in the bio, right? Or click this link if you're on Facebook. Send them to that landing page, capture their information, send them that list as well. Or just have a simple follow me. Maybe it's a mindset quote that you're doing. You want to encourage people. Put follow me for all things Houston and real estate, right? Or whatever area you're in. And then put your tag to follow so they can quickly click it and hit the follow button. Okay. But have clear call to actions, whether it's your funnel, your website, your social media, everything should have clear call to actions that are leading to your website, landing page, or funnel, depending on the post that you're doing as well. So some quick statistics with social media. We're expected this year to reach 4.89 billion users worldwide. That's crazy. And especially, you might be somebody watching this from Mexico, Colombia, Spain, Brazil, Portugal, wherever. I can tell you, I've lived in Venezuela, I've lived in Mexico. Anytime you go to some of these countries, they don't always have websites. Sometimes websites are expensive to get done, but they stick to a Facebook page, an Instagram. One of the recent things that we booked in El Salvador was we went to a coffee farm, and the way we booked that coffee farm was through Instagram and WhatsApp. They didn't have a website, and that's the way these countries do business. So if you're in those countries, focus on social media, but all have it go back to a landing page, a funnel, so you can capture their leads as well. And then the average user is spending 151 minutes per day on social media. And then TikTok, obviously we know, is the fastest growing. It's grew by 100%. In 2023, and it just continues to grow. So here's some more ways to drive traffic, some other ways to add to your mix. Once you've got the consistent blog, social media down, what are some other ways? Go to online forums and groups. This is a great way to get content as well, because you can see all the questions people are asking, right? And so if we want to drive traffic to that funnel, you could go answer questions, right? And a lot of times they'll look you up, or you can put, hey, I talked about it in this blog article, or go post your blog article, 5 things to do this summer in Houston for free, 5 kid-friendly activities for free. Do something like that that drives them to your website. So now you're at the forefront of their mind about being a real estate agent. You could do online paid ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, all of those things. Printed marketing materials with QR codes, so your yard signs. One of my agents just put a yard sign in her yard that says, your friendly neighborhood realtor lives here, and has a big QR code and her number, and it's gotten her some traffic and is letting people know in her neighborhood, and it's a friendly neighborhood. She knows her neighbors. Hey, I'm a realtor now, right? So printed marketing materials, door hangers, all of those things. Sponsor events. Go sponsor a little league team. If you have a smaller budget, sponsoring little things is a great way to stretch your budget, get it out there, and get in front of people that you normally wouldn't get in front of. Start having conversations and messages. You should be responding to all of the comments, the appropriate ones, respond to them, and then message them and say, hey, thank you for the like, thank you for the follow. As you can see from my bio, I'm a realtor. If there's anything that I can do to help you with anything real estate, or if you know anybody that needs help, tell them your services. And then, hey, I would love to help them and be of service. Please let me know. So that's another way. Partner with local businesses. There's a couple ways you can do this. Partner with local business to promote them. Do a little, every time me and my spouse go out, we record the place, take some photos. We share it to Instagram immediately as a reel or a TikTok, and put it in our stories. And immediately the businesses are sharing that. Now we just got in front of 5,000-10,000 people we never got in front of, and they're promoting your stuff. And if you want to grow your social media following super fast, do giveaways. Go to a local restaurant, coffee shop, buy 4 gift cards at $25 a piece. Or if you don't have a small budget, go buy 1 gift card a week for $25. Run promotions and do the same thing everybody does. You got to like my Instagram and Facebook page. You got to comment below, give this post a like, tag 3 people, and it's a quick way to exponentially grow, especially if they know that you're doing even if it's a small giveaway every week. People will show up to get that free item. And it's another way to support the local business, because now they're going to promote you as well. Look for local publications. Sometimes these local magazines struggling for content, sometimes you can get in there for free, especially if you have a great story on how you transitioned to real estate, or how you helped a recent client, or some inspirational story. Talk to them, or you could take out a local ad with them as well. So those are some more ways to drive traffic. You just have to get creative and try some out for a little bit of time. Be consistent with it and see if it works for you and move on. But these are great things to add after you mastered blogs and your social media content as well. So once we're driving data, it's super important to track your data, because this is going to change how the wording on your websites, the photos you use, the videos used, the content you post, everything about your website funnels and landing pages. It's going to track by using something like Google Analytics. You're going to track the unique number of users. So how many visitors are coming to your website that are new, but it's also going to track the returning visitors. And that's super important. If people keep coming back to your website, maybe because of your blog, that's a great thing, because you have a lot of returning traffic, but you should also have a lot of new traffic as well. It's going to tell you the traffic sources. Did it come from social media? Was it a direct link? Was it a referral? Was it a video search? It tells you what type of devices they're using. So do a majority of your people use desktop, maybe because they're older and they don't like using phones? Or maybe you have mobile use, because 80% of people that are searching on the internet for something are using mobile devices. So make sure your website's mobile friendly. It's easy to see things. If you want to know if your website is mobile friendly, zoom out. And if you see a large website in very small print, you do not have a responsive designed website and mobile friendly. It should resize based on the screen size. Then it's also going to tell them how long they spent on your website. This is super important, because if Google sees a high bounce rate, so the higher the percentage, that's bad, right? Because that means people are bouncing really quick. You want to see an average time spent on your website over 2 minutes. If your bounce rate is high and it's around 30 seconds, it means people got to you by the wrong search results. So Google's going to start docking your SEO, because they're going to say, oh, people, when they were searching for realtor, they bounced after 30 seconds, they weren't finding. So maybe it's wrong location, any of that type of stuff. But it's going to let you know that, hey, when people have been on this page, they leave. Or so this allows you to get all the information you need to make adjustments to your website. And it's going to let you know location. Maybe you have a lot of people looking for relocation, a lot of California people looking to move to Houston, right? So now I can target my information about California and relocating to Houston, and California versus Texas, LA versus Houston, whatever those areas are, you can use that information for your knowledge. And then you're going to use Google Search Console. And there's plenty of videos out there how to set these up, especially with Google. But that's going to tell your performance, how many people clicked on your website from a search result, what keywords they found you with, how many impressions, how many times did you show up in the feed, and then how many times did they click your keywords? Are there any website errors? Do you have any broken pages? Do you have any content? Because they'll let you know ahead of time so you can fix that. Because if there's a lot of errors on your website, Google's not going to promote it because it doesn't work properly. And then once we have all of that data, we can analyze it, figure out what sources aren't working. Maybe you're posting a lot to Facebook and it takes time, but nobody's coming over for Facebook after a year. Well, leave it alone. Just focus on Instagram. It's okay to focus on one social media outlet. Just do it consistently. Who is your audience? Is it male, female? What age group? What locations? How long are they spending on your website, your funnel, your landing page? And are people returning? And with those, you can take all of that information and adjust, because the whole goal is to get people to your website, figure out what is keeping people there, and then when we talk in the next video, we're going to talk about how do we capture the information, because if we don't have this information correct, it's going to make our lead capture journey that much more difficult. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, again, put them in the comments below of this video. You can tag me in YouTube at JM Sharman. If you're at EXP, you can find me in the workplace. If you're not with EXP, you can find me on jacobsharman.com. All of my social media is JM Sharman, as well as my YouTube channel, where you'll find other videos and more in depth on this topic. And I hope you guys come for the next video, because that's when we're going to talk about how to actually technically capture leads into your website, or from your website into your database, which is super important. And this is where most people struggle with, is that technicality. And we're going to go through that step by step. Thank you.
Folks, that was Jacob Shireman. Thank you, Jacob, for being on the show. I am always a fan of all of your content. It's so valuable. And guys, if you like that, make sure that you tune in next week, because he's coming back with another really amazing session. So we're having a good day, my friends. Let's keep it rolling. So next up, we are talking to my dear friend, the amazing Sarah Delancic, your friendly ISA, as you might know her. And we're going to be talking about making follow-up fun. which to me seems like a very foreign concept. If I could be honest, I'm terrible at follow up, which is why I'm so excited about this course, because like it's talking, like the idea that we maybe have to gamify the process to trick our human brains into making this something that we can do consistently and persistently. So excited about this. We're going to get into that in just a moment. And what I want to tell you though too is that Sarah is really generously offering something as well. Tomorrow she's going to be doing, it's tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific. She's going to be having a free, it's free, free webinar. It's Fearless Follow-Up and Agents Online Lead Conversion Playbook. So she's giving you scripts. She's giving you text templates in this free webinar. So I'll drop the info in the chat. And guys, I want to share this, and I want to make sure that you get this, because Sarah is giving this to us for free, and I just think that so many of us probably need this right now. So I'll drop that info in the chat right now if you want to take a look. And without further ado, let's toss it over to Sarah Delancig.
EXP family, this is Sarah Delancig, your fellow realtor, and I'm here to share with you how to overcome the fear of follow-up and hopefully make it a little less intimidating. I actually started out as a coaching and consulting salesperson, and I ran a team. And I was intimidated by making phone calls when I first started that position. But I found that being authentic and being myself on these calls actually gave me more success than other people who sounded very professional and very salesy. And so when I got my real estate license, I went and started selling real estate, and I was very excited about it. And then I realized really quickly it wasn't really for me, but I do love making phone calls and helping other people sell real estate. So on a daily basis, I make about 100 phone calls, and I set up appointments for other people. And I just want to share with everyone how I overcame my own fears of follow-up and became, really successful at it and have a lot of fun with it. So even in this current market that we're in, I am setting all kinds of appointments and having lots of fun. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what holds you back from calling your leads. And the number one thing that people tell me is it's a fear of rejection. So same for me. I was afraid of people telling me no or telling me stop. And then if you pay for that person to click on your ad or something, then you're like, oh man, what a waste of money. It's not a waste of money. As a matter of fact, the rejection is a good thing, because it's a bigger waste if you don't call them and you send them emails and send them other things, and all this other energy goes into trying to connect with them outside of a phone call. And you find out later that they already had a real estate agent, or maybe you've been calling the wrong number this whole time or something like that. So it's actually better for them to tell you no or tell you stop right in the beginning, so that you aren't spinning your wheels and wasting 18 months on someone that is never going to work with you because you actually have a wrong number or something like that. So don't be afraid of the rejection, but we'll talk about some other ways to overcome these things. The second thing that people tell me will hold them back from calling their human beings, I don't like saying leads, but calling the people that they want to connect with, is negative feedback. They don't want to get any negative feedback. They're worried about getting cussed out. They're worried about a bad review. They're worried about whatever the case may be. You can worry about all kinds of things. And that's what you're going to end up getting if you sit there and worry about it. So you do not want to put that out there into the world and expect negative feedback. As a matter of fact, you should think anything negative is actually positive. It has nothing to do with you if somebody's cussing you out. Like, they're having a bad day. It has everything to do with them. It has nothing to do with you. So don't take it personally, and just, send them some good vibes and move on with your day, right? And again, it's not a bad thing, because now that's probably not somebody that you would want to work with anyway, if they're going to treat people like that. And so you don't really want to get cussed out while you're showing homes to that person. So either way, probably best to just send them some good vibes and move on with your day, right? Okay, the next thing, number 3, is lack of confidence. And this is what I also experienced in the beginning. when I was trying to sell real estate coaching, I overheard all these guys that sounded very professional, that were younger than me. And, and it was intimidating to me. And what I decided to do about it was to gain some confidence by practicing. And I had about a 45-minute drive to work every day. And I would sit there and say over and over again the first line of what I would say when I call someone, and they actually picked up the phone. So I would do that. And from there, I can take it from there. And that's kind of my style. So I gained confidence when people heard my voice and heard that I was authentic and heard that I cared. And then they would just talk to me. And I ended up having a lot of success selling a lot of real estate coaching and inviting a lot of people to real estate events because of it. And had a lot more success than the other people that I was intimidated by. So in order to get over a lack of confidence, you have to start building confidence by taking it one step at a time and practicing these things so that you can gain confidence and you build on that. So it's like building blocks, right? Okay, so number 4 is that you're uncomfortable. A lot of people, they're just uncomfortable on the phone. My husband is like this. Like if you try to call him, even in an emergency, he'll probably text you back and say, what's going on? Like he's not going to pick up the phone. He just doesn't like it. He prefers to read things. Like some people are like that, and that's totally okay. I still suggest phone calls are necessary and then follow it up with a text or whatever. But if you're uncomfortable on the phone, there are ways to combat that. Again, just like with your lack of confidence, you can actually build, your own confidence, build your comfort level through practice and, intention and positive self-talk and things like that. But role playing, there's so many things that you can do. So we'll get into some of those in just a little bit, but know that even if you're uncomfortable on the phone, you're still representing who you are, and that's important. And you should embrace that, and no, you don't have to be super professional, super salesy, or anything like that. You just need to be yourself, because that's what you want people to connect with. If I sit here and try to be something I'm not, try to tell all of you, yeah, I've sold 200 homes in a year, which has not happened, you're going to see right through it. So when I'm calling people, I don't sit there and try to portray something I'm not. I portray myself exactly as I am and exactly what the purpose of the call is, exactly like I would to a friend, a family member, anything like that. So hopefully that will give you some confidence and some comfort. All right. So number 5 on what holds people back from calling the people that they want to connect with, not their leads, but the people that they want to connect with, is that they don't have scripts. They don't know what to say. And I would say that's not a really good excuse, because there's a bunch of them online. But at the same time, like I just said, in order to be yourself and be authentic, what's the purpose of your call? Just think about how you would want to be treated, right? Like think if you were getting this call, you were scrolling Facebook at 2 a.m. and you saw an ad that said, do you want to know how much your home is worth? Enter your address and get your value. And you'd click that. And then the next morning at 8 a.m., you get a phone call from a realtor. Like, how would you take that, right? So put yourself in their shoes. Think about how you want to be treated and what you would want somebody to say. But if that still doesn't work, there's tons and tons of scripts online. There's so many resources, especially within EXP, that you can find amazing scripts for this. And I would recommend that you always take those and you turn it into your own voice, because some scripts are going to represent somebody that's totally nothing like you. So try to put it through the whatever your brain thinks like and have it spit that out instead. So hopefully that's helpful. All right. Number 6, the thing that is holding people back from calling the people they want to connect with is time management. This is actually a really big one, and it leads into number 7, which is the inability to focus, which leads into number 8, and that's your environment. But let's digress. So time management, a lot of people will say that they don't have time to call their leads, but then they don't have any business. And then I say, well, you must have time to call your people that you want to connect with, your leads, your seeds, whatever you want to call them. Because if you have no business, then what are you doing, right? If you are too busy out there showing homes and listing homes and things like that, well, that's different. But you need to have some time management to get to that point where you're doing all that. And so if you want to connect with people, and if you are paying for people's information so that you can help them buy or sell, then you definitely need to time block so that you can make sure that you're going to connect with those people and help them out. So number 7 is the inability to focus. And this is very common among real estate agents, which a lot of us are ADHD or ADD or whatever you want to say. And so we will squirrel on all different things, and myself included, that's the case. So in order to combat this, I use what I was just talking about, which was time blocking. And I put it in my calendar with a 15-minute reminder beforehand that I need to make sure that I am actually going to do this. So we actually look at our phones. I heard Americans look at their phone like millions of times per day. And if that's true, which I don't know if it's that much, but if it's true, then a 15-minute beforehand reminder should be enough to tell you that you need to do something, right? And so if it's in your calendar, then you need to make sure that you prepare the space to do it and the time to do it, and that you will actually sit down and focus on it. So if you aren't able to focus on it, though, that's where your environment comes in, which is number 8. And so your environment needs to be clean. It needs to be a clean space with all of the tools that you need to make the calls and follow up with people. And you need to make sure that it is, quiet or set apart from whatever else is going on around your house, so that you're not distracted. Dogs, kids, spouses, whatever the case may be. And you need to make sure that you also have some positive stuff going on in that environment. Like I personally, I'm a big, 2000s pop, hip hop fan. So I put on some good music, and it gets me in the right mood to make some phone calls and to start setting up some appointments and get some buyers and sellers. So that's me. That might not be you. It might be Enya for you. It might be, some kind of like abundance mindset, frequency tones or something like that. I don't know what it might be for you, but for me, I like it that way. And I'm just sharing my own things that work for me. There's also smile and dial. I'm sure you guys have heard that before. It is absolutely true. Smiling when you make your phone calls it carries through. You can tell when somebody's smiling, right? And you can tell when they're being genuine. So another thing people do is stand up. I personally don't really stand up when I make calls, but I know that it like raises your energy level. And I know Tony Robbins would say you should stand up when you make calls, but personally, I don't do it. But a lot of people, it is very effective. So that's another thing that you can do. All right, so let's get into some other things that will help you overcome what's holding you back. Number 1 is setting goals. And like I mentioned earlier, if you are setting up some goals and you have set the time to do these things in, time blocking, and it's in your calendar, and you have the space and the environment and all that, then the goals are, where are you at now and where are you going? So I would say, how many follow-up calls are you making right now? And I would write that down. I say, how many follow-up calls do you make per day right now? How many appointments have you been on in the last month? And then how many closings have you had in the last 6 to 12 months? So pick whichever one works for you. Some people might just do the 6 months, might do the 12 months. But and then start doing this for a period of time. Set yourself up some goals. Like I'd like to double what I've been doing, or I'd like to just do an hour a day, whatever your goals may be, but make sure that you stick with them and that you follow through with it. And then you look back on it when you're done, you're never really done, right? But when a certain period of time has passed, and that's when you want the goal to come to fruition, then you look back on it and you see where you're at. Maybe it's a month, maybe it's 2 months, maybe it's a week, but just look back and see what you've done and where you've come. Okay, the next thing is visualizing success. I highly recommend that everyone do this, and it may sound crazy, but it is like legit. Like mindset is probably 90% of what will bring you success in this industry. And I will share a little story about this. So the other day, the interest rates went up again. And I was talking to one of my clients because I make phone calls for other agents. And I said, oh man, the interest rates went up and it's the middle of summer right now. And I'm concerned. And he told me, Sarah, that's not the way to think of it. Now, normally I'm very positive, but at this moment I was not. And he had to remind me of that. And he said, Sarah, no, this is great. The interest rate's going up. No, it's great. I'm like, why is it great? And he gave me some reason why it's great. And I was like, okay, I'm buying in. All right, cool. And I proceeded to have the best week of my life on phone calls. And I will get into that, which I will get into in number 3, which is positive self-talk. So he had told me I needed to think of it differently and visualize success and then tell myself that this was real. And what I did is I put together affirmations, which I will be sharing in my workplace group. And so if you guys want to check it out, we'll have a link for that at the end. But in my workplace group, I put these affirmations that I've been doing for 2 days now. This is the 3rd day, but I haven't made calls yet. It's early in the morning, but I will be. So the day 1, I ended up talking to a seller. He has a home to sell for about $1 million and he's buying for 1.2 million. So he was a seller and a buyer. And I was so thrilled for this person to get connected with my client. And I was like, wow, that really worked. Okay. So day 2, I did it. And the client that was telling me to be positive before, I ended up getting him a $2 million cash buyer that is ready to buy right now and does not have a real estate agent. So 2 days, 2 over $1 million buyer sellers. That's pretty the proof is in the pudding, right? So check out the affirmations, give yourself positive self-talk, tell yourself you can do it. Because if you're sitting there going, these leads suck, nobody's going to pick up the phone, I don't know what to say, then that's exactly what you're going to get. So just keep that in mind. All right. The next thing is setting the stage. I already talked about that. Setting the stage is where you get yourself in the right mindset to make the calls. So you visualize your success, you tell yourself, you do your affirmations, you prepare your environment, you have the reason why you're doing what you're doing, maybe written down on a Post-it note. You've got good music playing, you got some Snoop Dogg or whatever the case may be, right? So those are the things that you can do to set the stage and get yourself pumped up to make the calls. Okay. Number 5, accountability partners can help you overcome what is holding you back from making phone calls and prospecting. And the next thing that kind of ties in with role playing, so I'm just going to put these together. There are lots of, real estate groups that you can join. I'm sure we all have friends in the business. We should anyway. And you can reach out to just about anybody. Hi, my name is Sarah DeLancig. I'm happy to talk to you and be an accountability partner. So you can find me in a workplace and we can hold each other accountable. And then there's a lot of people I know that do role playing within EXP world and all of that too. So check it out. You'll be able to find some stuff like that will help you a lot immensely, because role playing it out will help give you confidence. And like I said, start building those blocks. The next thing is remember your why. So for me, I have it written down in front of me. So anytime I'm like, Sarah, I'm not in the mood to do this today, I look at this little Post-it note that says why I got into this business and what it means for my family and for my future. So I have that sitting right there. So anytime that I am not in the mood, I see it and it tells me, nah, this is, you're exactly where you're meant to be and you need to keep going. And the final thing is that you should have fun doing this. This is not scary. This is not hard. It may seem hard. I want to encourage you. It is not that, because I have tried selling real estate and, gotten buyers under contract and stuff like that. And that's much more difficult to prepare a contract is much more difficult than what I'm doing, which is just making phone calls. So, and trying to connect with people. To me, it's nothing. So I also want to encourage you that there's a lot of stuff out there right now that maybe isn't working, right? So my style may not match with some other people's style. I'm one of the only women that talks about follow-up. So I want to share with you what's working for me and the way I do it. But there are also a lot of other people that know what they're talking about and do it a different way. And I encourage you to find what works for you and just go out there and get it. So like I said, you can find me on Workplace, and I am super privileged to be a part of EXP. So I hope all this stuff helps you guys, and hit me up if you have any questions. Thanks.